So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can go out on 2 to 3 dates per week if you so want to by using this system right here. If you don't know who I am, my name is Dunham. I went from a guy who didn't know how to attract women whatsoever. I struggled in my dating life, but through this system in which I'm about to show you, I was able to actually increase my volume of dates, and through that, actually find a woman who I'm very highly interested in, who respects me, who takes care of me, who brings value to my life. And now I would say that I'm in a fulfilling relationship, all right? So whether you want a relationship, whether you want casual dating, it doesn't matter. If you follow this, I promise you, you're gonna get amazing results. All right, so up first, we have to define our strategy here. And I kind of reverse engineer everything in my life. In order to find the answer or the solution to something, you have to know the numbers in order to get there. And so I thought about this, right? In order to get 2 to 3 dates per week, or even 2 dates per week, or even 1 date per week, you definitely gotta set more dates than the dates you're going on, because women are fickle, women flake. So that being said, that means we have to set around 5 dates per week in order to get that 2 to 3, because once again, women flake and they're unpredictable. Now, in order to have those 5 dates set, we need to have at least 10 conversations. Once again, we're accounting for the fickle nature of women. You guys know, if you've been on any sort of dating spree, you know how women can be very unpredictable. Now, right here I have middle of the funnel. This means that we need to have 10 conversations either through our number or through Instagram. Now, also we need 20 conversations at the top of the funnel. And when I say top of the funnel, this is usually in the form of dating apps. So, matches, messages, before you actually move them to your number or to your Instagram, right? So we have to reverse engineer. 2 to 3 dates per week equals 5 dates set, 10 conversations, or 20 top of funnel conversations. So as you can already tell, in order to get 2 to 3 dates per week, we need a lot of volume. You can't go outside and just talk to 2, 3 girls and think you're gonna get 2 to 3 dates per week. It's not gonna happen. And speaking of that, let's talk about the strategy in which we have to implement at this point in time now, because there's many ways in which we can meet women. But since we need to optimize for volume, we need something that can help us optimize for that based on our lifestyle, based on our skill sets, and based on what we personally want to do. Now, I have the 3 most popular mechanisms of meeting women right here, and I've done them all, so let's kind of go through them first. First, we have cold approach. You've probably seen this back in 2007, 2005, made popular by mystery, pickup artists, so on and so forth. This is essentially where you go out on the street during the day or even nighttime and you talk to women. Now, cold approach is amazing for self-development. It actually is. I've done it before. It helps you get over anxiety, helps you get over your fear of rejection, helps you actually learn how to talk to strangers. But the issue with cold approach is that as a dating strategy, in order to optimize the volume in which we need to get 2 to 3 dates per week, that means we're probably doing 2 hours of approaching every day, all day. And if you're a busy guy like myself, if you value your time, then this is something that we want to have in our toolkit, but not necessarily as our main dating strategy. Now, next we have dating apps. Now, there's pros and cons with each method, of course. And the pros with dating apps is that, for one, we have leverage. We have our time back. I think of it like running an ad. And if you learn how to run profitable ads, you can sit back, relax, and collect cash. So it's the same thing when it comes to our dating strategy, right? Apps just simply give us leverage because we can be on multiple platforms. We don't need to leave our house. I'm not saying it's amazing for self-development. I'm saying it's amazing for leverage. Now, the cons with apps is that you have to position yourself, ideally within that top 10% in terms of aesthetic, in terms of your own personal points of leverage, in order to actually get the volume in which we need. Most guys get on dating apps and they're just not seeing results. They get 1 to 2 matches per week. And, if we're doing that, then obviously we're not going to hit our date goal. Now, dating apps worked for me because I already knew how to take pictures. I always actually enjoyed taking pictures. I had a social media business before I was getting into dating. And so I kind of had that skill set already. And plus I got into looks maxing, which we're going to get into that next. Now, also we have social circle. Now, pros with social circle is that women gain a high sense of trust and familiarity with you. And if you look back on how people met back in the 1920s, 1930s, 40s, it was mostly through social circle. So places you visit on often, school, work, friend groups, et cetera, et cetera. However, with social media and dating apps becoming increasingly more popular, and with remote work, this becomes not that much of a thing we can actually do unless you live a very, very social life. But if you're anything like me, I really don't. And so for me, what made the most sense was online dating or dating apps. But once again, you can leverage everything to your tool set. I recommend that you stick with one that will give you about 80% of the results in terms of the volume strategy that we need here. And I believe online dating is going to get the best result for you in terms of that. Now, like I said, you must be, positioning yourself in the top 10% in terms of attractiveness, in terms of your style. And so up next, step 2, after we actually identify the strategy in which we're going to do, is looks maxing. Looks maxing and content. Looks maxing, all it really means is making yourself more attractive. And the reason why it's gotten so popular over the past 2 to 3 years is because women are now optimizing more for looks, more so than confidence, than social skills, and increasingly with the popularity of online dating and social media. Also, I forgot to put Instagram right here too. Instagram counts as apps, by the way. And so when it comes to looks maxing, the first thing we have to do is leverage for sex appeal. Now, we got the basics, which I'm not going to discuss in this video, but losing weight, getting in the gym, doing a workout routine, these are all the essential things that every man should be doing. But if you want to looks max in terms of the female appeal or the female gaze, all we do is increase our sex appeal. Now, how can we do that? First, we have jewelry. Very, very simple. I'm not necessarily wearing jewelry except for a watch right now. But usually, if I'm taking pictures, I would, put a necklace on, maybe a bracelet. Then also, we have style. People underestimate the idea of style, but if you craft the right clothes with the right textures, the right colors, and the right fit, given that you have the right canvas or the right body, you can actually make yourself way, way more attractive, especially through pictures. And then we got another one like facial hair. I remember I was watching a music video. It was called Booed Up by L.A. Ma. I don't know her name, whatever. But this guy, the love interest, had a really nice beard. And at the time I was beardless. And I was like, I need to learn how to grow a beard because I felt like that would take me to the next level in my looks. And so I started using minoxidil 5% foam every day, twice a day for 3 years. And I ended up growing my beard within 5 to 6 months. So if you don't have a beard, you can try that out. If you do have a beard, then we need to optimize for a specific facial hair style. Usually the close stubble tends to work the best for most people, given that you're lean and that you have a pretty solid facial structure. However, it's going to be pretty variable and different for most people. Point is, we need to looks max and more so add more sex appeal to us. Now, after we do that, now we have to do the photo shoot. Because once again, we are optimizing for leverage and volume through the use of online dating, a part of our strategy to get 2 to 3 dates per week. And so the photo shoot is perhaps one of the most important parts, a part of the online dating process, because without content, we have nothing. Once again, going back to the idea of running an ad, if I tell a business that, in order to get more customers, we have to go run this ad, and they don't take the content, then obviously nothing's going to happen. But guys still mess up with the photo shoot aspect. And they think that they can just go take selfies, mirror pictures, or just take random pictures from the camera roll. And that's not the case. So with the photo shoot, essentially what we want to focus on is portrait style photography. Portrait style. So this means 50. When it comes to the lens, if you hire a photographer, for example, or if you use your own equipment, we need to shoot in at least 50 millimeters. This is going to give us a more up close and cropped up sort of focal length, which works best for dating apps. Now with social media, you can use more the scenic style, wide angle, the high status, show more of your location and environment. But specifically for dating apps, we need to actually focus on the portrait style. And then alongside with that, we need to do 6 different looks. If we're using a dating app like Hinge, for example, they actually require you to post 6 different pictures. And so most guys, they have maybe like 2 to 3 solid ones, but the rest aren't that great. And for that reason, they get disqualified. So when I say 6 different looks, I mean environment is number 1, outfits, and also posing. So for example, you would do some standing, candid, which means looking away, looking at camera, and sitting. Basically, with the photo shoot, we need to showcase ourselves in multiple different contexts in multiple different ways. That way, over time, this is also a testing phase too. We can see what angle and what pose and how we actually look like through the camera. And then from there, we can see what looks best on us over time, right? So portrait style, 6 different looks, focus on that photography. And then from there, you would make the selection of the right pictures in order to set up the dating app profile. All right, so after the photo shoot, we're still going on, all right? We got step number 3 now, which is we need to run volume and leverage. Once again, the online dating platforms are doing this for us. And then also, we got to keep in mind sort of our stuff here, right? 10 conversations, middle of the funnel, 20 top of the funnel conversations. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to download the big 3 of the dating app platforms: Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, if you're in America. If you're in the UK, if you're in Europe or anywhere else, I would simply just do a Google search and see the most popular dating apps within your specific country. Or you can go to the App Store and usually it'll showcase like what's popular in your particular area. But point is, we need to be on at least 3 dating app platforms. This way we can run a lot of volume, have the most leverage, and ideally not run out of women to swipe on. Now, also, we're gonna have to buy the premium. You see, everything is a corporation, nothing is a nonprofit. Dating apps are pay to play, especially for men. If you don't pay, you're just gonna get the results very, very, very slow, and they're gonna sabotage you into being frustrated and just not getting the results you want. So we need to pay for the premium services. With Hinge, get a Hinge X. For Bumble, get Bumble Premium. For Tinder, you can get Tinder Gold. All right, and this is gonna make the process just a lot easier. We can see who has already liked us. We can swipe on women unlimitedly, but we're not gonna do unlimited swipes. We're gonna do ideally 50 likes per day. Because at the same time, we gotta remember, we want to actually save time while doing this. With Code Approach, it's great for self-development once again, but it's not gonna save us time. We're trying to optimize for the highest ROI possible. So 50 likes per day, you're gonna do that until you have at least 10 active conversations on each dating app platform, which will get us slightly above the 20 top of funnel conversations. We'll probably be around 30. Now, once you're actually texting, and keep in mind, texting is a whole skill set within itself. You can have everything optimized at this point in time, but if you don't know how to text efficiently, then you're pretty much still not gonna be able to set up dates in the way that you want to. So keep in mind that is a skill set. However, we need to identify what I call high interest women and move them to the middle of the funnel. Middle of the funnel, my marker's going out, equals number or Insta, IG. Ideally, we want to use Insta because we can leverage social proof, we can leverage ourselves in different contexts, and we can leverage more attraction triggers that are actually based in psychology. Social proof being one of them, pre-selection, familiarity, comfort, trust, all these things. It's just a lot easier to build through IG. So you send those women to IG in the form of a compliance test. Hey, send me a message on IG, let's talk there. Hey, do you have IG? Here's mine, send me a message. Here's my number, shoot me a text real quick and we can set up a day or talk more there. So now we're going to the middle of the funnel. Now we get into the actual date setting. Now, this is where it's going to be on you to make sure that she conforms to your frame, and also you establish your boundaries and know your personal schedule. So if we want 2 to 3 dates per week, that obviously means we need at least 3 days open. And so I recommend that you have Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Tuesday, actually based on science, is the best day to set first dates because women are more likely to show up, not flake. And for some reason, that early part of the week, psychologically, people are just more likely to actually go out and do things, right? So I would actually aim to go for Tuesday. And then you could have Thursday, Friday, or you could have Wednesday, Friday, doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that you have your 3 dates. And then, this is now middle of the funnel where we actually set up the date. So you would talk a little bit. You would then do a soft close in the form of, hey, what are you doing so-and-so day? Let's meet up and talk more, right? You always set the dates and the availability based on what you can do, not what she can do. And so you never want to ask her when she's free. You say, here's when I'm free. Can any of these 2 days or day work for you? You don't want the woman to be able to think. You want to make everything as seamless and as easy as possible for her. She should literally just be saying, yes, that sounds good. Let me know location, boom, boom, bam. Now, as I've been mentioning, women are very fickle and flaky, super fickle and flaky. So if we actually want to optimize this, we would probably set up 2 dates for the same day. Now, I know for some this sounds crazy, but it's an actual strategy that can help mitigate flaking and to make sure that we actually set a standard for ourselves to go out on 2 to 3 dates per week. And so you'll notice that if you set 2 days per week, for example, let's say one at 6:30 p.m. and the other at 8:30 p.m., that either one of them might flake, or if one doesn't flake, then you would do the flaking. You would flake on whichever one you didn't like the most. And when it comes to prioritization of the woman who we want to see, we need to optimize more for compliance and interest, more so than attraction. So the woman who is making it easiest for you, who showcased her interests more, who seems the most excited, that's the woman you should prioritize if you're going to set 2 dates on the same day. And then last thing, we need to do the assumption follow-up, ideally on the day of the date, before or at 12 p.m. Eastern. If you wait too late to follow up, they're going to think that you're not going out on a date with them anymore. I've had this happen to me literally so many times in which I thought we were on the same page, but 4 or 5 p.m. comes along. I send her a text and she's like, oh, I already made other plans because you didn't contact me. Until I personally learned that you follow up 12 p.m. or earlier with the assumption, meaning that you're assuming that you are meeting and that nothing else is going to go on. So you would say, hey, looking forward to seeing you, Susan, at 12 p.m. Here's the location. You shoot the location. As simple as that. And if they can't make it, then they'll let you know. And who cares, because we got 2 dates set, right? So guys, that is how you literally get 2 to 3 dates per week by using this strategy. Now keep in mind, there's a lot of skill sets involved in this, from the looks maxing to the photo shoot, to the styling, to the texting, to the date setting, to what you actually need to do on the date. Like, dating in itself is a huge skill set that takes time to master. But if you follow this, I promise you, you will get the dating life that you've always wanted. And if you personally want my help in order to actually construct all this in terms of me holding your head through every step of the process, figuring out your dating strategy, helping you look max and become more attractive by giving you personalized one-on-one advice, helping you out in terms of app selection, giving you my personal scripts for top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel, and everything alongside with this, then click the link down below. We actually have a full mentorship called Digital Romeo, where we help guys within a 12-week time frame accomplish all this. So yeah, link will be down below. Schedule a free consultation, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.